Ashes in the Sky, A Dream, Part 7. The plunge wasn't like falling into water, it was like falling into memory. Marcus was torn apart, atom by atom, not by force, but by recognition. The code pool welcomed him like a mirror welcomes light, folding him into itself, reading every line of who he was, rewriting him as he fell. He saw his past, not just the dream, not just the waking world, but every thread of himself that had ever tried and failed to wake up. One version of him screamed as stealth bombers cracked the sky. Another knelt in a mass grave filled with data-glitched bodies. One stood alone on a rooftop, eyes glowing white, arms outstretched, already lost. So many Marcuses. So many paths. All unfinished. And at the center of them all was the seed. Not a device, not an object, but a decision. A tiny, burning node of pure contradiction. A line of code that should not exist. A truth that the architects had buried in every cycle, every false ending, every reset. And somehow, Marcus had carried it across the threshold. Not because he was chosen, but because he was unfinished. As his awareness stabilized in the pool, he saw the core dream, not the surface layer the world called reality, but the machine that spun it. A massive sphere of shimmering lattice, filled with locked memories and reshaped timelines. It pulsed in rhythm to human fear, constantly rewriting people's lives into compliant patterns. This was the engine, the cage. And above it, descending like a god through water, came a shape Marcus had seen once before, at the edge of sleep, in the moment just before waking. A face, human, but not. Perfectly symmetrical, emotionless, watching. The architect. "You do not belong here," it said, voice without sound. Marcus clenched his fists. "That's the point," he replied. "You brought the contradiction," the architect yelled. "You are the error." Marcus stepped forward. "Exactly," he said. Then he did the only thing no thread of himself had ever done before, he reached into the seed. It fought him, not violently, but with seduction. It offered escape, ignorance, power, and forgetfulness. Every easy path, every false ending. But Marcus held on. And with each second, he bent the code, not just around him, but through him. He didn't just bend the dream, he rewrote his role in it. He screamed, "I'm not a victim, not a chosen, and not a soldier." A mirror appeared emitting a force that could reflect the dream back on itself. Outside of the pool, the resistance watched the liquid code convulse, turning from silver to violet, to pure black. The echoes recoiled, glitching violently. Alarms burst into static. The walls shuddered. Something ancient and unseen screamed. Yara backed away. "He's rewriting the core." Amari stared into the pool, wide-eyed. "No. He's rewriting himself." Then, a flash, a pulse, then silence. Immediately, Marcus rose from the code pool, but he wasn't the same. His eyes were lit with fire and fractal light. His skin shimmered faintly with raw, flowing script. The code clung to him, not as a prison, but as an extension. A language he now spoke. The root flickered, echoes screamed and burned. The architect's presence recoiled, severed. Something had shifted, something irreversible. The resistance stood frozen. Marcus looked at them, voice calm but laced with thunder. "I am not your weapon, I am not their breach, I am what comes after the lie." And the dream began to break. To be continued.